While the pressure of the Ukrainian armed forces on Kherson is increasing, the Russian army is losing its strategic targets one by one. After the Russian ammunition depots and Russian headquarters, the logistics routes and shipments of the Russians in the region became the target of the Ukrainian high-mobility M142 artillery systems, HIMARS. It is certain that the shipments to Kherson will strengthen the weakened Russian army, and the Ukrainian armed forces absolutely do not want these shipments to take place. They show this with their attacks, especially after the difference created by HIMARS in the region. The intensity of the attacks increased. Ukraine began to carry out more powerful and active attacks. Ukraine's offensive is of great importance, especially for the liberation of Crimea. Kherson is a key region connecting all cities in the south of Ukraine with the Crimean Peninsula. Ukraine and Russia are aware of the importance of Kherson, and there are serious conflicts here. However, one of the most critical dates of the Russia and Ukraine war was 9 August. On August 9th, huge explosions occurred at the Saki military airbase of the Russian Navy in the occupied Crimea. As a result of the attack, 4 ammunition depots and at least 9 Russian fighter jets were destroyed. Undoubtedly, this was Russia's biggest one-day loss since World War II. After this huge attack, Kremlin became uneasy. Russian army and Russian civilians started to leave Crimea in fear. However, the Russian army was providing logistical support to Kherson, Mariupol, and Melitopol via the Crimea. The Ukrainian armed forces had to continue this attack and completely block the Russians and squeeze them in Crimea and Kherson. And the Ukrainian HIMARS artillery units achieved this by targeting the Antonovsky Bridge for the 5th time. Vladimir Putin faces a military disaster after the Ukrainian troops once again target the Antonovsky Bridge in an artillery strike. The Ukrainian armed forces destroyed the Antonovsky Bridge in a night raid. It is known how critical this bridge is for the region. The destruction of the Antonovsky Bridge, one of the main bridges connecting the region to the mainland, will cause heavy damage to Russian shipments. The bridge is a vital supply line for Russian troops on the west bank of the Dnipro River. If the bridge is destroyed, Putin's troop will be cut off and their faces wiped. Earlier attacks had made the bridge nearly unusable for military vehicles. However, with the repairs carried out somehow, the Russian troops started to use the bridge again. At the same time, the pontoon bridge built around the bridge completely supported the Russian military shipments. This latest attack, recorded on video, proves to us that the Ukrainians used HIMARS. The images show a bright orange ball with thick black smoke rising into the sky as part of the bridge burns. It can be heard that Russia's air defense systems have been activated as vain attempts have been made to shoot down incoming shells. However, the dysfunction of the S-300 and S-400 air defense systems has been revealed for a very long time, more precisely since the day HIMARS were used in the region. The effectiveness of HIMARS in both the Donbas and Kherson regions could not be hindered in any way by these superior Russian air defense systems. The HIMARS have clearly disgraced these Russian air defense systems. After the world sees US-made HIMARS or similar German MARS-2 and British M270 MLRS power, it will probably lose interest in Russian air defense systems completely. Social media users immediately mocked the recent attack, the failed attempts by Russian forces to thwart the attack. The futility of multiple attempts by the Russian air defense was evident as a result of several absolute precision strikes by the Ukrainian HIMARS on the Antonovsky Bridge early Sunday, August 14. Russia can no longer do anything. The British Ministry of Defense, in one of its latest daily bulletins, confirmed the damage done to the bridge in previous attacks. 2 main road bridges on the west coast of Dnipro, providing access to a pocket of Russian-occupied territory in Kherson Oblast, are probably out of use for important military supply purposes. On August 10, 2022, Ukrainian precision attacks rendered the road crossing of the Dnipro River unusable for heavy military vehicles, presumably at Nova Kakhovka. In recent days, Russia has managed to make only superficial repairs to the damaged Antonovsky Road Bridge, which is probably in a structurally weakened state. At the same time, it would be more correct to say Vladimir Putin was dealt a humiliating blow on the night of 14 August after Ukrainian forces blew up an important supply line bridge that Russian troops were desperately trying to repair. Ukrainian forces struck the Antonovsky Bridge for the second consecutive night amid Russia's failed attempts to intercept the rockets. Ukraine turned to US-supplied HIMARS, which bypassed Russian air defense efforts to stop the attacks. It has been seen by everyone how the multiple rocket launcher humiliated the Russian air defense by hitting the bridge in an attack caught on camera. Media outlets all over the world say this. According to author Louise Mensk, Russian forces were publicly humiliated by Ukraine's use of US-supplied high-mobility artillery rocket systems HIMARS in Kherson. Mensk, a former conservative member of the British Parliament, described the aftermath as the greatest tactical success in modern military history. Russia continues to focus most of its military power on taking control of the Donbas region of eastern Ukraine, which has been the focus of the war since the beginning. After failing to take the capital, Kiev, Russian forces increasingly focused on the conflict in the east. However, there have been fears for months about the possibility of launching a similar invasion into Moldova, the small country in the south of Ukraine. Like its embattled neighbor, Moldova was a Soviet territory before 1991. Also on the border with Ukraine is Transnistria, a separatist region recognized by Moscow but not recognized by any other member of the United Nations. This region, just like the Donetsk and Luhansk regions, is a place where separatists or Russian-backed separatists live. Frankly, Transnistria is one of Putin's puppet regions. Putin's next target is estimated to be this region, and the Russian army would probably have to occupy Kherson and then Odessa for such an attempt. There's no way for Russia to send ammunition to that area because the area is surrounded by NATO forces. Even if this job seems a little impossible, if Russian President Vladimir Putin's mad vein is called, he can engage in such an operation. However, there's a clear danger to this operation. Putin, who suffered great injuries due to the front he opened in Ukraine, may not be able to engage in this operation, because such a risk means the beginning of an operation that will result in much more losses. In this case, he will never take this risk, considering the possible revolts within Russia. Taking that risk with a potential Chechen rebellion before you is a tantamount to death. Many think that after a hypothetical victory in Ukraine, Russian forces will move to take control of Moldova. But this thought should definitely be perceived as an empty thought, at least as long as Ukraine exists. And considering the resistance and attack of the Ukrainian warriors against the Russian army, maybe the Russian army may not exist, but Ukraine will always be.